Good day, grade 9s. I'm quickly going to start with 5.1. If you do have time, please continue 5.2. Just make a little summary of all the methods and stuff that you need to know, and then we can continue with that later. But for now, 5.1, we're going to start with measurements. Remember, just read through your book. Katlego, I unfortunately only got the Afrikaans one, so I'm not going to read through this book, but just go through. They just show you what you can measure, different kinds of stuff that you've done before. 1.1, they just asked you to change from hours to minutes to seconds, and then from weeks to days to hours. Only thing we need to remember, if we change, for instance, 1.1, and we'll change 2.4 hours to minutes. So how many minutes is in 1 hour? There is 60 minutes in an hour. So you times it with 60 and you get 144. So your first answer will be 144. So now you have to change 144 minutes to seconds. So how do I do there? I take my 144 and I times it with how many seconds in a minute with 60 again, and you get your answer. The second one, it's a bit, you can start with your minutes and you can times with 60 to get your seconds. 83 minutes. How many hours is that? So only thing that you can do is how many minutes is an hour. So we divide it by 60. And you get your answer. So that will be for 1.1.2, and that's 1.1.1. Just fill in all the blanks. And then the second one, it's almost the same. It's just now weeks and days and hours. So let's take 1.2.3 for you. They give you 4,600 hours. How many hours is in 1 day? Divided by 24. So take 4,600 and we divide it by 24, and you get your one. They say we have to round off to the first 191.666, so it will be 0.7. Okay, so that will be how many days we've got. Now from there, how many days? So you take your 191.7 days, and now how many weeks? So how many days in 1 week? It's 7. So you divide it again by 7. Now we get 27.38. So it will be 27,4. Okay. So continue with 1.2.2 and 1.2.3. 1.3, you must just make sure the time of the day. You must fill in your watch, and there you give your analog and your digital time. Just make sure that you write when it's daytime, afternoon, or morning. And if we take 2320, 1.3.1. 2320, how do we get our normal analog time? You can just minus your 12. So it will be 11 o'clock, and you must just write down morning or afternoon. Temperature, there's a formula you get. The one is Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32 degrees. It's a formula that will give it to you. This is if you want to change Celsius to Fahrenheit. That's the two measurements we measure heat with. So in South Africa, we use Celsius. Overseas or some other places, they use Fahrenheit. So sometimes you have to change it from one to another one. So like the first one, it's easy. They give you the Celsius. So what do? I just wear what they give me. I substitute. Remember when you did this? Put a 3 there. And maybe it's an x plus 5. And that means where the x is, I must put a 3. That's my substitution. Remember, we've done this before. So now it's going to be the same. They say 50 Celsius. So they give this to you. So what do we do? Where the Celsius is, you're just going to put a 50 plus 32. Remember, if it's like this, it means times. Just put it in your calculator and you get your answer. So sometimes they will do it in the other way. It'll give you the Fahrenheit and you have to calculate the Celsius. So in that case, it will be 1.5. So where I've got my Fahrenheit, I'm going to put 932 degrees. And then I just need to calculate my Celsius. So remember, this is a normal, you've done this solution by now. So what do I do first? I get rid of the plus 32. How do I get rid of that? It comes in minus 32. So that will be 900. And now I want to get rid of the 9/5. So what can we do? You just times it with 5 over 9. Why? Because when we do times, it can equals out. So it will be Celsius on this side. But if I do it on the one side, I must also do it on the other side. Okay, guys, just put in your calculator and you will get your answer. I can't do everything with you. You have to go and finish all of them by yourself. Okay, 1.7 is just measurements of distance, speed, and time. So remember distance, speed, and time. We've done this last year in grade 8 as well. You've got your little formula, always your triangle, distance on top. That means my divide by. So distance, divide by speed or time or speed, doesn't matter. So if I got my distance, I've got my time, 1.7.1, I have to determine my speed. So I see speed equals distance, that means divided by times. So just put in what you got, 100 divided by 4. So I've got my 25, just put it, and this will be distance divided by time, so it will be kilometers per hour. Okay, you're done, and then you're just going to go and finish all of them. So if you got your time, just make sure that there you got seconds, and then in 1.7.5 I've got 10 meters per minute and 90 seconds. In that case, you must make them the same. So 90 seconds will be how many minutes? 1.5. So it will be 1.5. So let's just check 1.7.5 for you. There we have to determine distance is speed, if it's like that, times time. Okay, I've got my speed, it's 10 meters per minute, so I can put my 10 there. But my time, they give me in 90 seconds. So I can't work with per minute and then seconds on the same time. So just make sure, what do we know? We've done that before. 90 seconds is how many minutes? So we just divide it by, there's 60 seconds per minute, so it will be 1.5. So there you times off 1.5 and you get your answer, your distance. Make sure, just check what they give you and what you have to measure. Okay, 1.8, you must just measure with your ruler. Go and measure everything. Just remember, they tell you to go anti-clock. So you have to start with A and go left around. So you just measure all the points, A to B, B to C, C to D. And then when you got your measurements, what you have to do there, they give you a little scale. They say 1 millimeters equals 10 kilometers. So if I measure everything and you add all of them together and say, for instance, you get 40 millimeters, it's not right. I haven't measured it. You guys can do it by yourself. So what I need to do, I have to times the 10 with 40 as well. And then you get your answer. That will be 400 kilometers. Okay, so just make sure you measure and then you get your kilometers. So what they ask you is, how long will it take if I drive 300 kilometers per hour? Okay, so I've got they want how long, so it will be time. Time equals distance divided by speed. And now I've got my distance. You measure it there. It's not the right answer, guys. You must go and measure, and then you times it by 10. So you get your distance. You'll use the distance that you determine, and you divide it by your speed that they give to you, will be 300. And then you get your kilometer, or hour per kilometer, kilometer per hour. Again, okay, so do those, everything there. 1.9, they say you were driving from Pretoria to Durban. It's 600, so we go in Pretoria, we drive to Durban. It's 650 kilometers. 650 kilometers, and back as well, 650 kilometers. And they give you to Durban, you drive at 100 kilometers per hour, and then back you drive at 120 kilometers per hour. And what do they ask me? 9, total time, what it takes you to get to Durban as well as back to Pretoria. So you're going to do little two sums. Time equals distance divided by my speed. So for Pretoria to Durban, it will be, my distance is going to be the same, but my speed is going to be 100. And then plus back times from Durban to Pretoria will be, my distance is 650 but we'll divide by 120. You add the two times together and then you get your times. And then they ask you for the average speed that you drove from Pretoria back to Durban and back again. So my average speed will be, my speed for half of the time was 100, back was 120. How do I get an average of something? Divided by 2. You get your average. Okay, 1.10, you just must fill in the graph and then answer some questions. I'm just quickly going to draw quickly one here. At the bottom, it's my time in minutes, and at the side, it's my distance. Okay, they give you a little graph there. They tell you the first 10 minutes, 10 kilometers. So let's just mark, I'm going to mark it here just in 10. I know your guys, it's in 5, so it doesn't matter, 10. Remember, when we do have a graph, make sure the distance that you use in between are the same. And here we have to go to 16. Do it with ruler, please. Okay, so the first one they give you, the first 10 minutes, it will be 10 kilometers. So after 10 minutes, where will I be? Be at 10 kilometers. Then after another 10 minutes, so at 20 minutes, where will I be? I've ride another 15. So I've 10 plus 15 gives me 25. Okay, because 10 plus 10 is 20, it gives me 25. Measure that, make sure that you measure it right. And then after another 10 minutes, so now we're at 30 minutes, I'll have drove another 20 kilos. So now I'm 25, 35, 45, 45 at around about 30 kilometers. And then another 10 minutes at 40, we drove another 15. So it's 50. 60, guys. I'm just quickly doing this. Just make sure. Okay, so just you measure and you put it down and then you get your little graph, and from there just go through and they ask you stuff. They say use your graph and see what is the speed, what the bicycle in the second 10 minutes. So from here to there, what was the speed? So let's go. What was the speed in the second 10 minutes? So I'll just go. Okay, so I've got my distance, you got your time, so you have to determine your speed. So say it's 15 divided by 25, and you get your answer. Okay, so that will be 1.10. 1.11, start with measuring of volume. Remember all your formulas, please. You must know that by now. The first one, they ask you how many liters liquid can we hold in the holder. Okay, so it's a rectangle. Volume is length times breadth times height. Okay, so all of them together, we've got it 6 times 10 times 25, and all of them are in centimeters. So your answer must be centimeter to the third, because we times all 3 of them. Make sure that you do it right like that. 1.12, they ask you to determine what the radius of the cylinder is. Guys, you need to know your formulas for the volume of a cylinder. So make sure, go back in your other books, or make sure that you know your formulas for the measurement of volume. Just make sure if it's in the book at the back, maybe. Okay, so for now, I think if you can, for today, finish for me up to 1.10, and then I can just quickly make a summary for you. Good luck.